All right, we're back with another edition of the Scotty Knows Show. We actually have another interview right now. Um, we have, okay, what exactly is your title exactly, Mr. Sully?
K9 Sergeant Sully, thank you to law enforcement. So,
Yeah, got officer. What is officer the proper term?
all right, you can call me whatever, but if you're in law enforcement, just call me Sergeant. But
Okay,
so it works with everybody. I'm not a big stickler on that. So
all right. Um, First question I have, since it is today's date, do you remember the 21st night of September?
yeah, I do. Just think that's the only time you can say that today, too.
Yeah. Um, so how long have you been in law enforcement?
Well, this would make my fifth year in law enforcement, so I kind of just signed up and just went with it for the past 5 years.
Yeah. And where exactly do you work?
I work with the Yankton Sioux travel agency here. So the reservation of the Yankton Sioux Reservation. If
Okay.
people don't know where it's at, it's southeast South Dakota. So it's right by you got Ogallala, which is west, then you have Rosebud, which is like in the middle of South Dakota, and then you have Yankton Sioux right at the east side. So that's where I've been, you know, working this whole 5 years.
How far is that from your hometown?
Yeah, I probably like a mile and a half. So I'm living where I'm working. So
Okay.
a
Okay.
lot easier.
What's the most fun part of your job?
The most fun part, I would say, would be well, now that I have my canine, it'd probably just be out with my dog all the time, chilling. Um, but other than that, is meeting new people. The funnest part is making friends with other agencies too, and getting to know your employees. So yeah,
Okay. What are some challenges of your job?
challenges. Right now, one of the challenges we have for our PD right now is the scheduling. Like, not a lot of hours are being put in, and a lot of people are covering for each other. So that'd be another. That's one of the challenges. The other ones is like you're not, you're out there, you're patrolling and everything, and when it comes down to real life situations, you're the only level-headed person in that whole situation. So you're not. That's probably the most challenging is these are people's lives, and depending on how you do this type of service for these two people or three or four, that's going to be an outcome, and that's going to affect them. So you gotta have a level-headed, and you gotta be common sense. But like that's one of the most challenges on the job is probably the scheduling and getting your hours in and out. So
Um, People probably have an idea of what a police officer does, but what are some misconceptions that they might have that you can disprove?
let's see. All cops have a quota they have to reach when they pull you over. Me, for the 5 years I've been doing it here, it's probably the HP division. I know that 'cause they need their monies, but like local agencies, we could care less if you're going like 10 over or 15 and you're cool with us. It's like, all right, here's a warning, because most of my stops I do canine, so I don't really ticket a lot of people. I usually just hey knock that shit off, get a warning. That's it. I catch you again, there's gonna be consequence, stuff like that. It's um, and another one would be the whole donut thing. I haven't ate a donut in like 3 years. Granted, I do. It's funny. The last time I did purchase a donut was a long time ago, and I was in uniform and I wasn't thinking about it. And this guy just kind of like looks over at me, and I'm like, how Casey's is set up where the donuts are right there in the middle of the freaking store. So I'm grabbing them, and this guy kind of like looks over and like looks at me like, look at you. And I'm just like, yeah, that's a good joke, isn't it? You caught me handing the freaking cookie jar, I'm getting a donut. Like, hey, this guy's getting a donut. And it's like, God damn.
Um, lately I've seen you've been speaking to some schools.
Yeah. It's a thing I wanted to try out because some of the issues back then was our police staying with the community and where they're all against. So I wanted to try something new. And so like last year I held an assembly for one of the schools here and they got to meet my canine and she's all right. I mean, she's friendly. But they liked it so much. I was surprised by it because there's a lot of kids that came to me after the assembly and they're like, "Hey, how do I become a cop?" And I'm like, "Hey, you graduate first. You got 4 years. Go to college or technical school, and when you turn 21, if it's something you want to do, try it out. You never know. But you got 4 more years ahead of you. Don't be dead set on being a cop. It's probably one of the worst jobs right now to be in, anyways." And I went to my Wagner Community School, my school I graduated from high school, and I spoke to them, and they really liked me. The guy that hosted it, he was a prior Yankton PD guy, and he was like, he was telling me, yeah, you're the longest guy that was up there, and I was like, well, I kept, I was telling people, if they got questions, I'll answer them, and they kept giving me questions that it was ridiculous. There were so many questions, and I kept looking at him for help. And he'd look at me and he'd be like, I got another question for you. And it's like, oh, I just wanted to end it. But because we were supposed to be up there for 10 minutes and I was up there for 45. So, and then I went to go speak to some more high school kids. It's just about situational awareness and um, what do you do if something bad, like their whole thing was, what do I do if I run up on a car wreck? And it's like, okay, well, first of all, don't do anything crazy. Call 911. We'll be there. If anything, do not try to pull anyone out of those vehicles because you could be liable for that and might kill them or something. So they want me back next week. So I gotta go talk to another senior, senior high schooler class next week. So
Okay.
going pretty good. I'm not a dare officer, but it feels like I'm getting curved that way, kind of.
Okay. So Dare still exists?
That's what I've been hearing. That there's training for it still, I guess. But for me, I'm just doing it out of my own free time, out of my own, something I want to do. So whenever I come visit a school, it's not because I was told to. It's because I really want to do it and see the kids. Because what was crazy was this year, or no, last year. See, 4 years ago, I was that cop you see in high school, like, oh, there he is, like growing up, like that's the cop that was in high school. So when I was in Casey's the other day, and this guy, he comes up to me like extremely tall, and I'm like 5'9", he's like 6'6", comes up to me, he's like, hey, remember me? And I'm like, did I arrest you or did I catch you with something? What's going on? So I'm kind of playing it. I'm like, what's up, man? What's going on? And he's like, Officer Sully, it's me, man. Remember, I was a freshman. I'm graduating this year, and I'm just like, oh, damn, I feel old,
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
S-
so
s-
it
So,
was pretty crazy.
so, your video froze, so you've joined the likes of Wyatt Perry in the video freezing during a podcast taping.
Oh,
So, oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, there
dang.
we go. So, difference between you and Wyatt, you know how to change your screen to work. So, um, of course, you and we went to college together,
Yeah.
and um, I wanted you to describe what's going on in uh, in this um, in this photo here. What's going on here?
We are with the most interesting man in the world at B-Dubs.
When was the last time you saw that?
Jeez, that's had a bit. more than 5 years, isn't it?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
First of all, your hair is amazing in that. I might add. I might add.
Yeah. Still wear a wristwatch.
um, yeah. So, you grew up in Wagner. Uh, there's a lot of really, really good athletes that came through your school during the time that you were in high school.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, Robert Kokesh, the Kocher brothers.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with them?
Oh, they were. I didn't really get to talk too much to Robert, but he was a good guy. I know that. He was the upperclassman. So, I mean, he wouldn't look down on you or anything. He's just all around a great guy, and he's athletic. And there'd be some times where we'd be playing PE, and you'd kind of rely on those guys because they're more physically able to do it. With coaches in them, I got to talk to Alex and them, and we still run into each other once in a while. I remember quite a few years back, he bought me some drinks at the local bar there. But yeah, he's still rocking. They were pretty funny back then, and they like to joke when you crack one. So
Yeah. Um, one thing I respect about you is that you have one of the best senses of humor I've ever seen. You
yeah,
you love to laugh, it feels like.
oh yeah,
Um,
that's the thing.
how do you keep your sense of humor?
Oh geez, I grew up real rugged, so something switched to me to be really optimistic. And then, it's like during when I was growing up, I tried to make a joke out of everything, but what really helped me is my cousin. Yeah, we call each other brothers because there's a funny story. My other buddy who patrols here, he works for the Wagner PD, and my brother, I call him brother, but he's my cousin because we look so alike. It's just picture me with white skin.
Okay.
That we're like basically twins, but he's my first cousin. So, anyways, I'm patrolling, and my buddy from Wagner, he texts me. He's like, "Hey, why are you being so rude, man? I waved at you. You didn't even look at me. And you're at K's. What are you doing?" I'm just like, dude, I just drove by you like 2 seconds ago. That's probably my brother. So I drive by K's and I'm looking. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my bro, man. So I had to explain it to him. But me and him, we always cracked jokes. We always kept each other in a light mood. So I mean, you can't get worse. You just gotta be so, like, especially in this job, it works out well for me. Cracking a joke is the best way for me to cope with things. So and smiling helps, I guess. I guess you know uh whenever I like talk to classes and everything, I always keep it. I always have my jokes in there. So it's like the one of the main questions they ask me is, "What's the scariest, the craziest, scariest calls you ever been on?" And I'll be like, "Oh, they're expecting me to say, oh yeah, I got shot at or something." But I'm like, "Oh, I saw the tall man the other night. That was scary." And they'd be like, "Oh no freaking way!" Or they're like, "What's the tall man?" It's like the very ancient spirit. It's scary. Holler in the phone pole. So I always curveball them with paranormal stuff as scary because I don't really take too literal. Kids don't need to know about stuff like that. So, and then they just go off. And you ever seen a ghost before? It's like, oh yeah, I seen a nun before. That's scarier now. Why is she still there? We don't know. It just happens. She likes it here.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
uh, I have a couple more questions, but uh, one one thing that I distinctly remember from the times that you and I have hung out together was you and I have a shared love of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Um, and later on in this episode, we're going to do a tier list of 90s WCW professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I know Sting, I think, was one of your guys.
Oh yeah. Stig.
Yeah.
Takes off the mask and he still has another one underneath it. Classic.
Oh, or the time that there was like a dummy that flew down the rafters through the ring.
Yeah. Oh, those are the best special effects.
Oh my god. Um so where did that love come from?
I remember when I was a kid, my dad would always watch it. So I'll plop right next to him, and that's where it all started because I'm like, why's that guy beating that dude up? My dad explains to me because it's the best thing ever. Keep watching, and and then I just get into it, and then pretty soon there I am waiting for more content to come out every week. So started out when I was a kid.
Okay. And I also remember you have a love of pizza rolls.
Oh yeah,
Um, I I can provide an update. Last week I asked Totino's to make breakfast pizza rolls.
yeah.
They are passing it along to the higher ups. So
Oh,
we might be getting breakfast pizza rolls.
that's a really good idea. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, breakfast pizza rolls, like pizza rolls made for breakfast.
Yeah.
I still have like big bags of my. I have a deep freezer. I'm growing up now.
Yep.
There's pizza roll galore in there.
Yep. What's the proper way to cook a pizza roll in your ideas, in your mind?
My mind. Okay. If you're gonna go gourmet style, definitely the oven.
Okay.
Flip it flip them so they don't get soggy on one side or harden on certain parts of it. Or if you got an air fryer, throw them fuckers in there for
Yep.
a good 5 minutes. But if you're sloppy one night, you're just lazy, it's good to get a pinch of where your roots are. Start microwaving them. So
Oh yeah.
different styles. So
All right. Well, stick around for the post show, but thank you for coming on.
yeah, thank you.